Hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we are doing the 6th recipe from the Red Velvet Cupcake Murder. They are the Berried Treasure Bar cookies, which are a raspberry bar cookie. This is a cookie with a lot of parts. First, there is a shortbread crust, a raspberry filling, a raspberry glaze, and a chocolate frosting. You are going to want to preheat your oven to 350. For the crust, you're going to want a cup of salted butter, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a cup of powdered sugar. For the raspberry filling, you're going to want 4 beaten eggs, 2 cups of white sugar, half a cup of seedless raspberry jam, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a cup of all-purpose flour. For the glaze, you're going to want a 1/4 cup of seedless raspberry jam, half a cup of salted butter, 1 cup of white sugar. And then for the chocolate frosting, you're going to want 1/3 of a cup of cream, half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and a teaspoon of vanilla. So with that, everything is laid out. Let's get started. This is all the pieces we're going to need to make everything. Okay, so we have our 9x13 that has been sprayed with Pam. We have our oven preheating to 350. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our first couple of ingredients and put them in the food processor. So we're going to want our very cold butter, powdered sugar, and the flour. It does say to cut the butter into 8 pieces. Now that everything is, it says just to give it pulsing motions until you have something that looks like cornmeal. I don't see chunks of butter, so we're going to dump this into our 9x13 now. So we have our pan. This seems very thick. Like, I need to push it down and everything. But it just seems very light and thick. Alright, once we have our crust packed down, we're going to bake it for 15 minutes. So, while that is baking, we are going to get started on the filling that we're going to pour on as soon as it comes out. So, first thing we're going to want to do is mix the eggs with the sugar. Now, sugar. Just get these mixed together. Now with this, we're going to put the raspberry jam in the microwave for 30 seconds. So give this a stir and let it cool for another 30 seconds. Alright, now we're going to pour that in. Almost seems like we're making a raspberry custard. It does say that the filling will be runny. So next we'll have the salt and the baking powder. Let's get those mixed in nicely. Now we're going to add in the flour, and we're going to beat that until everything is thoroughly combined. Now we're just going to let that sit until our bar comes out of the oven. It took a lot longer than the 10 minutes it said it was going to. I think it took like 20. Now it just says to pour this, when it comes out of the oven, pour it on top, and then stick the pan back in the oven for 30 minutes. Oh, it smells so good. Alright, here we go. Now we'll just pop this back in the oven. It says for 30 minutes. Let's hope they're more on the ball than they were with the first part. So this is what came out of the oven. I am slightly concerned with it. So this has been out of the oven for 10 minutes cooling. We put our jam in the microwave for 90 seconds. The center part is kind of jiggly, and the outside's it's jigglier, but it's also crispy. So I don't know if the center's underbaked and the outside's overcooked or what. It is deflating slightly. I have no idea what this is supposed to be at all. So I have no idea if we're in the right direction or if something's under or over. I don't know. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to take our melted jam, make sure we're good, and then we're just going to brush this on top. And then it will go in the fridge until it hardens. It says it should take about 30 minutes. I'm trying to be gentle with it because, like I said, the center is soft, which makes me think it's underbaked, which probably means I should have left it in longer. But I didn't know what I'm aiming for with this. But I've already taken it out, and I've already put the jam on top, so if it's under, it's under. My bad. I'm making a mess. Why this couldn't have just been poured and then done up, I'm not sure. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pour the rest and then try to thin it out. I definitely think I should have baked this longer now. But the edges were burning and I was concerned. So I pulled it. Probably shouldn't have. But it's too late for that. Now we're just going to toss this in the fridge for at least 30 minutes until the jam is no longer wet. Okay, so the next thing we're doing is a cooked icing. So we are going to be using the stove. You're going to want the butter, the sugar, and the cream all in. And then we are going to put this on medium-high. And you're going to stir it constantly until it boils. And then stir it constantly for it says exactly 2 minutes. So it took about 1.5 minutes. Now all the butter is melted, and now we're just waiting for it to boil. Alright, I can hear it boiling on the bottom, so I'm going to turn this down to medium and set a timer for 2 minutes because it wants exactly 2 minutes. I don't know if I'm supposed to be stirring it at this point because it just says to lower the heat and cook for exactly 2 minutes. It doesn't say to continue stirring. I'm going to, just because better safe than sorry. I'd rather not have it burn if I'm supposed to be stirring it. Okay. And we're going to add the half a cup of chocolate chips. And it says to stir until they are melted. Probably another 30 seconds or so. This one is definitely an arm workout day. Alright, we look smooth, so we're just going to take it off the heat and pour in the vanilla. It does bubble up, so be careful. Oh, it smells good. It smells like hot chocolate. It says to just pour it over and then tilt the pan around so that it covers. Doesn't really seem like it needs to be tilted. It seems pretty well covered. Alright, and then it says just to pop this back in the fridge for an hour at the very least. So, we will see you back here in a little bit. So, let's just point out the obvious real quick. It clearly did not bake the whole way through. It does look good. It does smell good. Baked or not, that is delicious. And that pastry crust, that buttery. Ooh, that's so good. Overall, I think that I should have baked the filling. Maybe covered it outside with aluminum foil and let it bake for another 5 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer than that. But even with it being a little underbaked in the center, it is still really, really good. And occasionally you'll get these like bigger pockets of the raspberry jam, and they are so, that tart sweetness just sets off that buttery rich crust and the chocolate on top. I think these are a really, really good mix, but they cut really easy. They are really tasty. All in all, I think it's really good. Unfortunately, next week, it basically seems like we're doing the same thing. It's got like the same kind of chocolate frosting. It's got chocolate and raspberry. It's called a Razzle Dazzle brownie. Honestly, I think they're pretty much going to be the exact same thing, just without the shortbread crust. But we will give it a try. We'll see how similar they are. If you're interested, join us next week. I hope you all have a good one. Bye, guys.